Welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. And here's your host, Conrad Cushman.
Folks, welcome to episode 78 of Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. I'm your host, Conrad Cushman, and we have a lot to talk about today. We're going to get into Ring of Honor's Glory by Honor preview. We're going to start off with that, and then we're going to end today's show with a little bit of a discussion about the WWE draft, and we got some fun stuff in between. So do me a favor, folks, if this is your first time listening to the podcast, or if you've listened to it a bunch of times, tell someone to subscribe, or you click the subscribe button so that way you guys don't miss out on any of the podcasts. Last Ring of Honor review I did, one of my best reviews, did excellent numbers, so I'm looking forward to this Ring of Honor show. And I know some of you are probably wondering, well, what did you think about Hell in the Cell? If you guys are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I always have the reviews of the pay-per-views, usually right after the show is over. You guys have to get on that because we had a good review for Hell in a Cell. The live chat was amazing for that. Had a good group in here just talking the show with me. Wild. Absolutely thought that the show had horrible build, and a show that turned out to be went right down the tubes with a horrible main event finish. I don't even want to talk about it any further than that. Check out my review on YouTube if you want my full thoughts on the show. But let's get into this Ring of Honor Glory by Honor show, shall we? Taking place 10/12/2019, Glory by Honor in New Orleans, Louisiana. If you guys have never been down on Bourbon Street, you are missing out. New Orleans, probably one of the best places I've been for food as well. Highly recommend if you guys have never went, go to New Orleans one day. Well worth your time. But let's talk about this show. Pre-show is going to be starting at 7 p.m. It has listed on the site. They've got some great meet and greet stuff coming up. And if you guys want to try to watch the show for free, you guys can go over to Twitter and check out at epwshow. I am running a contest with Fight TV. We are going to be giving away a code to a random winner, and we will then have them watch Glory by Honor, and then hopefully they come and check out the review. But just go on there, follow all my directions, and you guys could have the opportunity to watch the show for free. All right, let's get into the preview for this, shall we? We have Alex Shelley versus Jonathan Gresham as the first match announced for this. Alex Shelley is someone who I'm very happy to see back in Ring of Honor, someone who I feel was very underappreciated in TNA and to an aspect Ring of Honor at one point too. Good to see him come back to the professional wrestling business. He retired not too long ago, and I'm just glad he came back. Alex Shelley is one of the better performers who I think needs more love and appreciation from the fans. So if you guys see him, make sure you show him some love. Jonathan Gresham just picked up a big win over Jay Lethal at the last pay-per-view. Really good stuff there. The Octopus is one of the best in Ring of Honor. Like I said, he is a hybrid to me of Jay Lethal and Bryan Danielson. This is a guy you want to see wrestling at all times. For this one, though, I think we got to go with the younger talent for Ring of Honor. Jonathan Gresham is someone who I could see as the ROH champion eventually. So I'm going to go with Jonathan Gresham for the win on this one. Next up, we have a Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship bout. We are going to have the Briscoes, Mark and Jay Briscoe versus Luke and PJ Hawks. I am not familiar with this tag team, Luke and PJ. I don't think I've ever seen them wrestle to my knowledge. So it's going to be a learning experience for me. It'll be very cool for me to see what these guys can do. But I'm going to go with the Briscoes, the 11-time tag team champions, for the win here. One of the best tag teams that Ring of Honor has ever had. Probably one of the best tag teams ever, if you really look at it. The Briscoes are really amazing. So I'm going to take the Briscoes for the win. Next up, we have a number one contender tournament semifinal match. We are going to have the man who is not human, PCO, taking on the Peacock, Dalton Castle. Fun match. I think Dalton Castle has business that he's going to have to take care of with Joe Hendry. So I'm going to go with PCO here for the victory. PCO goes to the finals of this. And we have the next number one contender semifinal match. We have Jay Lethal versus the controversial, I guess the better word is probably talked about, Marty Scurll. Rumor has it Marty's contract is coming up soon, and many are wondering, what's he going to do? Is he going to stick with Ring of Honor? Is he going to NXT? Is he going to AEW with his friends? Nobody knows but Marty at this point. For this one, I think you roll with the controversy and you give Marty Scurll the win here. Marty versus PCO will be a dope match anyway, and I think it's a match that both guys deserve. I think Marty would love to be in there with PCO, and at the same token, PCO would love to be in there with Marty, someone who really gave him the extra boost by putting him in Villain Enterprises. It's going to be a good match. Both guys helped each other out equally, and I think that would be a dope finals match. So that's what I think it's going to be. Now, the Ring of Honor World Championship match, we are going to have the winner of a battle royal that I believe is going to take place on the pre-show will face the newly crowned Ring of Honor champion, Roosh. Roosh had a lot of stuff going on with him in CMLL, and Roosh is in a better spot here. Let Roosh do his thing, and I got him for the win no matter who it is. It'll be a nice showcase match for that person, but Roosh is the Ring of Honor champion right now, and that's who they need to roll with, so I'm cool with that. We also have a Women of Honor World Championship match for the women's title. We're going to have Kelly Klein versus the newly crowned champion, Angelina Love. Kelly Klein is getting a rematch after the last pay-per-view. She lost to Angelina Love with Mandy Leon on the outside. Who knows where Velvet Sky is going to be in all this? The allure is always creeping. And maybe Maneater shows up once again, but she hasn't been showing up during the matches. It's always after. Give me Angelina Love for the win here. I think she just got the title. Why take it off of her at this point? And last match that has been added to the card as we speak is Lifeblood versus Villain Enterprises. We've got Tracy Hot Sauce Williams and Mark Haskins versus Flip Gordon and Brody King. Now, I've given a lot of heels victories in this, so just based on that, I'm going to go with Lifeblood to pick up the win here. I feel Haskins and Bandito, I thought they were doing a great job competing for the tag titles, but let's see what Haskins and Hot Sauce can do here. Like to see them get the win. Lifeblood has some really good people in it too. They need to pick up some victories, so I'm going to go with Lifeblood for the victory on this one. And that's the preview right now for the Ring of Honor event. I plan on having a review up Saturday night, so make sure you guys keep it locked with me, that you guys are able to check out this show. Big things that I'd like to have planned for it. So make sure you guys are in there for the review. All of that stuff will be in the description box below, how to get to my Twitter, YouTube. Just check out that link tree and you'll find links for everything. But we'll be right back, guys. We're going to get into a quick word from our friends from Everything College Basketball, and then we're going to come right back and we're going to have some news. And then don't forget, we still have to get into the WWE draft and what I think is going to happen with it coming up. So make sure you guys stay locked in.
Everything Pro Wrestling, it's your boys from the Everything College Basketball Podcast and Facebook group. I'm Josh Burton, letting you all know that if you like the college game, that there's only one spot to come find all you need to know.
Yep, Josh, Peyton, and myself, Tyler, we are the three voices of ECB podcast and Facebook group. Peyton, tell them where they can find us and listen to us at.
Well, Tyler, you can find us on Anchor, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, and all other podcast hosting sites. Also, go join our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups like Everything College Basketball. So if you want everything you need to know about the collegiate game or have a passion for it, there's only one spot that you need to check out on a weekly basis or a daily basis with the Facebook group. That's Everything College Basketball. Now let's get back to Conrad informing you on everything pro wrestling and the workings around it.
Brother.
Make them say, Man, I happened to just see this as soon as it went up on Twitter today, retweeted it. Master P now running House of Glory. Unbelievable that I read this. The master of the hootie hoo, Master P and House of Glory. Master P mentioned Vince McMahon's name, saying that he's going to give him a run for his money. Master P is a bold businessman, and this is kind of a really cool move, man. If you guys don't know, JD from New York is an announcer for House of Glory. I predict to see great things coming from this. Really good stuff is already happening at House of Glory. They are churning out stars, people like Private Party, Anthony Gangone. You've got a lot of people who are just waiting to bust out and break out into the big leagues. And House of Glory's been doing it, and maybe this is a step to take them further in becoming a big league themselves. Master P is very happy and excited about this. He had Little Romeo by his side today, and they were just talking about it. And you got to remember, Master P is a businessman first and foremost. His business acumen is unbelievable. The man sells potato chips, records. It doesn't matter. The man has Snoop Dogg on his label, Mystical. He knows how to make money. So Master P is someone who I'm not going to doubt right away or say he doesn't know what he's doing. Let's see what he's got. Maybe he's going to be hands off and just invest in this. It doesn't matter. Master P doing this is big headlines news for House of Glory. Master P at one point was in WCW. They were out there when they had the feud with the Filthy Animals and the West Texas Rednecks. Rap is crap. I like country music. Just thought that the Rap is Crap World Tour, that was such a funny feud. And you know what? The Rap is Crap tune ain't so bad either. And I love rap music, but I thought that was funny. So I got to give it up to Kurt Hennig, Barry Windham, Bobby Duncombe Jr., and Kendall Windham. Really funny stuff. The Filthy Animals representing Master P and the No Limit Soldiers. All good stuff. So I'm looking forward to what we see from House of Glory. So big ups to anybody who is working for House of Glory. I'm happy for you guys. And Master P, I wish you nothing but success, bro. Hopefully we can maybe get you on a podcast or hear you talk about what your plans are in the wrestling business. Love to hear that, man. Next up, we got to talk about MLW Super Fight that's coming up. We are going to have Lawler versus Thatcher, and it's been signed for the pay-per-view. That's going to be happening on November 2nd. Filthy Tom Lawler versus Timothy Thatcher. Really good stuff. This pay-per-view is going to be happening in Chicago, Illinois. It's going to be fun, man. MLW has not been playing games. This event is going to be available on Fight TV. I'm sure if you guys keep it locked to my Twitter, you'll find a contest potentially for this in the future. Let's see what else they have signed for this right now. They say that they're going to have people appearing, which includes Davey Boy Smith Jr., Ross and Marshall Von Erich, The Dynasty, Brian Pillman Jr., L.A. Park. They've got a bunch of people. L.A. Park's in a really big match versus Jacob Fatu for the MLW title as well. This is going to be one you don't want to miss. This is shaping up to be a really good card, and I'm looking forward to it. So make sure you guys check out MLW Saturday Night Super Fight, Saturday, November 2nd in Chicago, taking place at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fight. Let's talk AEW Dynamite. Let's go over what they've got planned coming up for this week. They have matches set for Wednesday. This is going to be on the show for tomorrow, 10-9. Get you guys a little hype for it. I just watched the AEW Dark. Amazing stuff. And also, if you guys did not check out NWA Power, really good stuff. I watched them both back-to-back during that time. Nothing but fun. I was doing some housework and stuff, cleaning up, and it was really fun just to watch both of the matches. Nick Aldis, Tim Storm was really good, and absolutely loved all the matches from AEW. They did a really good job. Wrestling's in a good place, man. Lots of it, different options. Find what you like. That's the best thing I can give, best advice I could give or tell anybody at this point. But let's see what AEW has lined up for Dynamite tomorrow on TNT. Right now, we have a number one contenders match that's been set. We're going to see Darby Allin square off against Jimmy Havoc. Cody Rhodes was taken to Twitter, asked about why this is the number one contenders match, and Cody put it plain and simple. It's kind of like the college bowls, and he got a big win recently, Darby Allin, and so did Jimmy Havoc. So we're going to see who's the best, and the winner's going to get to face Chris Jericho for the title. I'm not mad at it. We're still in the infancy of who's getting number one contendership matches. We're not splitting hairs over he's got 2 wins, he's got 2 wins and 1 loss, whatever. I'm okay with this. Interesting to see what happens here. another thing that they have lined up, Jon Moxley will be taking on Shawn Spears. This should be really fun. Shawn Spears, the former Ty Dillinger, and Dean Ambrose are going to be locking up in this one. I don't know what to expect from this because you got to wonder, Kenny Omega's got to react to what Moxley did to him last week. Moxley freaking DDT'd him, a Death Rider DDT through a glass table. So what's going to happen this week with this? Nobody knows. And you got Tully Blanchard still hanging around Shawn Spears. So we got some good stuff coming with that. We also have the first match in the AEW Tag Team Title Tournament with the Young Bucks taking on Private Party. Bro, I don't know who's going to win this. Private Party has been amazing. And if you watch their match on AEW Dark, I am hyped for this. They look like they were clicking on all cylinders in that match. Everything was just flowing right. The kicks were beautiful. Everything was on point with them. And the Young Bucks, one of the best tag teams in the world, a lot of people say right now. And they are going to be going into this tournament. I don't know who's going to win this match. It's very tough to say, and it's a beautiful problem to have. Can I just say those AEW tag team title belts that they had Jay and Silent Bob holding? Beautiful. Remind me of the old ECW tag team titles, and I love the look of them. Very traditional as well, and they've got that like ECW tag title look with a little NXT UK, which are some of my favorite belts. So I love the look of these belts. Next up, we also have Sammy G. Sammy Guevara is going to be teaming up with the AEW World Champion Chris Jericho to take on the team of Dustin Rhodes and Hangman Adam Page. A lot of people were questioning where was Hangman during the beatdown, and he's going to try to prove where he was during this time period. But they're kind of having him in a slump too right now with what happened with Chris Jericho. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here and how they make everything play out for this tag team match. Should be a fun one, though. And that's it for the AEW Dynamite show. But AEW Dynamite did its thing, man. And we've got a beefed up SmackDown coming up that we're going to get ready to talk about because hopefully this can change the way a lot of people are feeling about WWE at this point. But that's going to come down to what happens in everything else. So once again, folks, we're going to have another quick sponsored segment, and then we're going to get into the end of the show. We're going to talk about the WWE draft that is taking place this Friday on SmackDown and on Monday Night Raw. All right, folks, we're back, and we are here to talk the WWE draft that is going to take place starting this Friday on SmackDown. I will be live afterwards on YouTube discussing everything WWE. I try to watch NXT on Thursdays, trying to keep up with everything, man. There's so much pro wrestling right now, as I said earlier. Hard to keep up with everything when you're trying to be everything pro wrestling. So forgive me sometimes if I'm not watching everything right away, trying to stay on it. But right now, let's look at the landscape of WWE. I am on their Superstars page on WWE.com. Current Universal Champion Seth Rollins. What can we say about him? Right now, Seth Rollins is in a bad state, I feel. The guy is just not being felt by the people. I think it's just when you take the face of the company stance and Vince supports you, and you could just kind of tell that that's where he's going. And ever since he had the back and forth with Ospreay, and it's fine for him to believe that WWE is the best brand, but the whole money thing, and I know he apologized for it, and Seth, that's cool. But I just think a lot of people aren't feeling Seth right now at this point. They're willing to see someone else with the title. The question is who, though? Because Seth is still one of the best wrestlers in the company. Got to give him that. But who would you rather see in that spot? And I think a lot of people wanted to see The Fiend there at Hell in a Cell, but unfortunately, that's not what we were given. Also, we have the man who destroyed Kofi Kingston in 8 seconds. What a travesty that was. If you guys haven't, make sure you check out my man Sean Hubbard Wrestling Weekly. He talked about it perfectly. I don't even feel like I have to say anything else about it. I didn't like how they did that. I thought Kofi should have at least fought back a little bit. I'm not saying Kofi shouldn't have lost the belt, but he shouldn't have been done like that, man, in 8 seconds. We had a whole tease of a fight with Cain Velasquez after that. Who knows what this is going to lead to, if this is a match maybe for Crown Jewel, but they've got options there for what they can do with this. Do you change any of the champions? Because you got Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch, Charlotte 10-time SmackDown Women's Champ, Shinsuke Intercontinental, AJ US. We have Rude and Ziggler with the Raw Tag titles and the Revival with the SmackDown Tag titles. The Kabuki Warriors are the Women's Tag Team Champions, and R-Truth the 24/7 Champion. That's a lot of belts. And NXT is rumored not to be touched in any of this. Where do these people go is the question. Because the 24/7 title, do you keep that both brands? Same with the women's titles. They really need to come out and explain what they're going to do with the championships. I feel like people are going to go to specific shows. Let them. But you got to do this stuff correctly. You got to do it right and make sure that people stay with their brand. If you're the champion of that brand, I guess you let them stay there, right? To me, that's what makes the most sense at this time. Yeah, and just realized and look at the NXT titles. The NXT Championship is now the NXT Championship belts just got another one added, the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. So Drew Gulak is currently going to be down there in NXT. We've got NXT UK as well happening. So let's take a look at where some of these people could end up. I mean, you got AOP. I feel like they're going to wind up being one of those teams that will challenge the War Raiders, whatever they're being called, the Viking Raiders. AOP could really do some damage against them. I don't know what happens to the 205 Live guys. I think you end up splitting some of them to NXT, and then the other ones you kind of maybe disperse amongst the roster. Some of these guys have to go back to NXT to get a shot at anything and do something. Aleister Black, he has been misused, mistreated. I don't know what they did with this guy. I think Aleister Black is someone who needs a fresh facelift at this point. I don't know, man. I think you keep him on SmackDown for now. He's a prime player, and I think he's someone that you're going to want to focus on. And Raw's going to need some good people too, and you'll see what I mean once we start going through more of this. Alexa Bliss, where could I see her going? Alexa Bliss seems like a Raw character for right now. I think that they're big fans of her, and they need some big ratings to happen. So Raw's going to need people. Like I said, give me Alexa Bliss on Monday Night Raw. Ali, I think Ali needs to make the switch to Monday Night Raw. Change up a lot of these people. They don't really have anything going on. Why not? Andrade's going where Charlotte goes. So if Charlotte's the SmackDown Women's Champ, you know they're going to keep Andrade on SmackDown. The Street Profits, I think it's time to call these guys up at this point. They're on Raw every week, and I would rather see them wrestling than featured in those segments. They have a lot of energy, and I think they can use that energy even more so by putting on a show in the ring. So let the Street Profits get into a beef with somebody. Let them join a brand, and I think they would be perfect fits on Monday Night Raw, where they've been showing up every week. Apollo Crews. Weird. I'm going to say he goes back to NXT, man. Apollo Crews really needs a second chance badly, and I think NXT would be the perfect spot for him. But if I had to give one suggestion, if he had to stay on the main roster, what to do with him, I would put him in a tag team with Cedric Alexander. I don't know what you go with them. I think they need a tag team name. They need to dress the same, but they could be a phenomenal tag team if you give them the opportunity to and let them be a legitimate tag team. I think these guys could do big things together. They're great in the ring. Maybe even with Titus O'Neil as their manager, they could do something. Let Titus O'Neil be a manager. He's better off in that position, in my opinion. So let Apollo Crews rock. Asuka is a champion. Bayley, what happens to Bayley and Sasha? At this point, I think you got to keep two of the horsewomen together and two separated. And for the sake of changing up who goes where and where the feud goes from here, put Bayley on Raw and let's have Sasha go to SmackDown to fight with Charlotte. Just keep them split for right now. You don't need all three on one brand or anything like that. And I don't know what Becky's going to do coming up for a feud. I mean, if Nia Jax isn't coming back, nor is Ronda Rousey, I don't know what Becky Lynch is going to do because there's no other matchups that I find interesting at this point. Maybe we see some unexpected call-ups. We had a rumor of John Morrison. I think John Morrison would be a great fit to Monday Night Raw to help give it that extra boost that it needs for the 3-hour show. People like Bianca Belair would fit on there. The New Day. What do we do with the New Day? Is Kofi Kingston going to fall out of that main event picture? Probably a lot of people are wondering. I hope not. I think you could keep him in there. But if you're going to split the New Day up, this is your chance to do it the right way. I think you do it via draft. Maybe one person gets drafted away and one person goes away to Monday Night Raw. And I feel like 2 people from New Day should be on SmackDown still as a tag team. See where they go with it. New Day has some options that they can mess with. Big Show, I don't know if he's back. Billy Kay and Peyton Royce, they need to stay together, and I feel that would be a great Raw act for them. Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, they kind of need a facelift right now as far as tag team wrestling goes. These guys are not looked at as anything serious. Put them on SmackDown as a team for right now. Lashley is going to probably be Monday Night Raw with the storyline they have brewing. Braun Strowman is someone who I don't know if he drew ratings on Fox or not, but I'm going to say keep him on Raw for now. Same with The Fiend. The Fiend belongs on Raw. I don't know how the Fox people would react to his character if they want everything to be very sports-centric. Buddy Murphy, SmackDown. Carmelo's going wherever R-Truth goes. That doesn't matter. Cedric Alexander, he is someone who I would like to see on Raw with Apollo Crews doing stuff. Cesaro, SmackDown. No other words. Chad Gable, SmackDown. Let these guys wrestle, please. I know you have more time on Raw, but I think these guys would be great wrestlers that people would like to see in good matches. Kurt Hawkins, they can go wherever. Him and Ryder could probably stay on Raw. Dakota Kai, I think she's going to stay in NXT. Same with Damian Priest. Dana Brooke, it doesn't matter. Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan is someone who I can see go to Monday Night Raw. I like him on SmackDown. I think he's a really good wrestler for it, but I don't know what they'll do with him, if they'll push him even. Dolph Ziggler is a Raw guy, I feel, at this point, because he's got the tag belts. Drew McIntyre, switch him to SmackDown. I'd like to see EC3 go to SmackDown. Elias to Raw. The Colognes, I haven't even seen these guys. Ember Moon to Raw. Let her get something else going on with herself. Rowan and Harper, I think you could put them on Raw. Let them get a fresh facelift. Eric and Ivar, I hate those names. Raw guys. Finn Balor's in NXT. Same with Fandango and Tyler Breeze. What do you do with the Lucha House Party? I feel like you got to break that team up. They're not doing a thing for anyone. I say you send one to NXT, maybe keep 2 together as a permanent tag team. To me, the group isn't working at this point. The question is who. I say you just keep Lince Dorado and Kalisto as the team and let Grand Metalik go back to NXT and compete for the Cruiserweight title. Heath Slater hasn't been doing anything. Hopefully he gets a resurrection in his career. Remember last time, him and Rhino as the first SmackDown tag champs was really dope. I'm trying to see if there's anyone else. I really like Isaiah Swerve Scott. He's someone who I could see as kind of a sleeper draft call-up. Jeff Hardy, I have nothing to say. The Usos, I think they go... God, I don't know. I think you put them on SmackDown. Jinder Mahal's Raw guy, I feel. Cena goes wherever he pleases, so who cares? Kane's going to go wherever he wants. The OC, AJ and the boys, I want to see them maybe go to SmackDown. Just to see something mixed up, something different. Here's the main thing, guys. I don't even have to go through this entire list. We need fresh matchups. We need creative storylines. That's what the people want from a lot of this. Look at people like The Miz, Matt Hardy. What is Matt Hardy doing right now? Let these guys go out and wrestle. They've got nothing else happening for them. Let them go out and wrestle. Let them do their thing. Mojo Rawley, someone else not being used at this point. No Way Jose. Switch these guys up. Change their gimmicks. Give them something new to do. Let Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff work. These guys know how to get people over. They've done it in the past. I'm sure they can do it again. Let them try and do something different with some of these guys, especially the ones who aren't getting any help at this point. I'm looking at some other guys real quick here. Randy Orton, where would he go? I see Randy Orton winding up on Raw at this point. Same with Ricochet, Rey Mysterio, Raw. We already know Rude's fate. Roman, I feel like Roman Reigns is going to stay on SmackDown at this point, and that's why they didn't do the title change with Seth. Ruby Riott, I say you put her on SmackDown. Got a different look. Very athletic, can talk. Same thing here with Sami Zayn. I'm pretty sure he's going to have to stay wherever Shinsuke goes. Joe is someone who could be used on Monday Night Raw properly. Sarah Logan, I say keep her on Raw. I don't even know what brand she's on at this point. What am I talking about? Sasha, Monday Night Raw. Or excuse me, SmackDown. I said that wrong. Yeah, maybe Sheamus makes a return. Shelton Benjamin, we've never seen what they were wanting to do with him. Sin Cara, let this guy come back on TV too. You've got lots of people that you're not using that could use some big things in the future. Taker, where's the Ascension? God only knows. Maybe we revamp them, give them new characters. Could the Velveteen Dream be a call-up? He's another person who I absolutely could see getting that call-up. But, guys, it doesn't matter what I think. Make sure you guys tune into the YouTube channel on Friday. We're going to be discussing and running through all of the draft picks that we see on SmackDown. I can't wait for you guys to be there. Thank you for listening to this short episode of Everything Pro Wrestling. We'll be back next week, and we'll try to iron out some more things in this wonderful wrestling world that we're in. Thank you for listening. Peace.